is only the family and the family of Comrade Pravin Gordhan that has got the authority to make such pronouncements. And those, by extension, who are delegated by the family, if any of such occurrences may happen. We urge the public to refrain from sharing unverified information and to show respect for the dignity and privacy of individuals and their families. This is not only applies to Comrade PG, but to all those who were even affected in the past. As we know, in the era of social media, this kind of fake news have been circulated in the past, affecting different families and causing distress. It is only families that can make such pronouncements. We further urge the public to disregard these baseless claims and to rely on verified sources for accurate information, and such sources on matters of that nature is the family. It is critical that we focus on his speedy recovery and factual reporting from credible sources and official statements, rather than being swayed by harmful misinformation. And we thank the media of South Africa, which have at all times followed the protocols that are written and unwritten about matters of this nature. We'll continue to monitor Comrade PG's conditions and provide updates as necessary. We stand with Comrade Gordhan's family and offer our continued support. We welcome the results of the by-elections held yesterday across 23 wards. We extend our gratitude to the communities who have once again placed their trust in our movement. These results are a reflection of the continued confidence that our people have in the ANC's ability to deliver on its commitment to improve their lives. The ANC urges all newly elected councillors to work diligently for the communities that have entrusted our movement with their vote. An ANC councillor must always address the needs and the concerns of the people with dedication, humility, and a commitment to the values of our movement. The responsibility to ensure quality service delivery, responsive local government, committed to improving the lives of our people, rests on their shoulders. The ANC remains focused on its mission to rebuild and regain the trust of the people to deliver on its commitments. We are working tirelessly to ensure that our structures at all levels are responsive to the needs and aspirations of our community. Thank you very much.
Colleagues, we'll take a few questions. Any question?
Thank you, Mr. Mbalula. I'm Howard from UFM. On the by-elections, I imagine you must be inspired as the ANC, having retained so many wards. And regarding Mr. Pravin, you know that fake news is fake news under any circumstances, but the tone of your statement also seems to be setting the mood. Now you are reading his credentials. It sounds like an obituary, or you know, he was this kind of person. Is it that bad for the ANC to have to quote these credentials in such?
No, we quote credentials about any of our luminaries in good and bad times. So it's not even a biography. If you were to read the biography of Comrade PG, you will take the whole day. So we are expressing our heartfelt gratitude to the family, and at the same time expressing our support to the family in this difficult time. Pravin Gordhan is one of the most outstanding patriots of this country, and that is why others are even wishing him all bad things. But if you look at who are those, you will know who are they. But that's not where we are. We are here because this is the man who served our nation with diligence and dedication. And whenever there are rumors and news that are of this nature, it is important that they should not only be clarified, but as the movement and the organization that he belonged to and he served with diligence, we've got the responsibility to be with him even at the moment when he is not in the right space. And that is all we are expressing as an organization. In terms of your question about the by-elections, yes, we are not shocked. We are aware that the ANC has been doing well in terms of the by-elections post the May elections. And the resilience of this movement is shown with the performance in the by-elections, not these ones, even the previous ones, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, where we actually lost our majority. And the fact that some of the wards that in May we lost to other political parties, we have managed to regain, and with even bigger numbers in this election. So our movement is resilient, and it is shown in these by-elections. And even here in Gauteng, we did well to retain our wards, as much as the DA also retained its wards, but the ANC have shown resilience. Other political parties are going down, and we are on the comeback, and we are on the rise. And that does not happen on its own. The ANC will intensify its work in relation to local government to ensure that we hold those we send to these municipalities accountable. We will be launching in the next coming months a barometer program for the councillors, for MMCs, for premiers, and also for cabinet at national government level to basically monitor our delivery scale in government at all levels. We will table that before the National Executive Committee, but it's an operational matter that has already been approved, but in terms of its mechanisms and its operationalization, we will table it before the NEC. But we look forward to such a program because it is important that our own public representatives who serve our nation on behalf of the ANC, they too must be held accountable.
Mr. Mbalula from Kaya News. We were informed on Tuesday that Mr. Gordhan was admitted to hospital, and then yesterday there was a candlelit vigil held at Constitution Hill. I guess some of the public sentiment or the question was why just to inform that he had been admitted to hospital, which perhaps could have spurred the fake news that has come out in terms of perhaps that he has passed. Could you just address why we were informed initially that he was admitted to hospital?
You were informed because there was already fake news circulating about Comrade PG, and by those who are his enemies, and the family put it on record that indeed is admitted in hospital. And it was correct for the family to do that, given his standing in public, but at the same time, given the fact that those who are opposed to Pravin Gordhan seem to be on the overdrive of fake news in this regard, and including some even making public statements to wish him dead, which is un-African, but at the same time, that is not Ubuntu. Even if you differ with a person, you don't wish anyone dead. And in this particular regard, we know Pravin Gordhan was at the helm of the ANC's program and of this government of renewal that led to the state capture, and many other things that he did that are good for this nation and for humanity. Anyone who step up the act to fight corruption must be celebrated. And we will not fold back and fold our arms when such individuals' history is being rewritten. And we fold and we say, okay, let it pass. It can't be. Pravin Gordhan stood for the truth. And he stood what is good for humanity. From the days of struggle, he was there. You may not agree with him politically, even ideologically, in the ANC, but he was such a figure. He stood for his views. He contributed as a patriot from apartheid to democratization. You've got SARS today that we are talking about, and it's good work. And up to date with our commissioner, who's doing exceptional work, the current commissioner, but working on the footsteps of giants like Pravin Gordhan. You've got an integrated financial system that includes SARS because of PG and the work that he has done. So we can't allow that history to be eroded and just to be distorted. We can't fold and look on as people continue to do that. Yes.
SG Jones from ENCA. You say that you went to go visit Mr. Gordhan. What was the conversation like? Did you guys have a conversation? Did you manage to speak to him? How was he feeling?
Well, we have described in the statement that is critical, and I think I did have a conversation with him, and then I expressed the view of our movement and myself and everyone else in the ANC that we wish him speedy recovery, like any other patient in a hospital, in the presence of family and comrades. And that's what it is.
Junior Kumaro from Newsroom Africa. SG, you speak about the family, the statement that was released by the family having been necessitated by the fake news that was already going around. Do you by any chance know how long PG has been in hospital? Because I'm assuming from what you said, it wasn't this week. He might have been in hospital a lot longer than that.
No, it's not a lot longer. I mean, it's at the time when the statement was issued, which is this week. As we all learned about it this week, sometime I think a day before yesterday, and then about it. And the family did make it public. Already before that, there were fake news circulating about him being in hospital and all sorts of, and the family issued a statement, and which was actually correct. And we welcomed the statement, and we also issued the statement on behalf of the African National Congress. But we are alive, not even to an agenda about the mischief of seeking to vilify a person who has done so much, and particularly from well-known quarters of our nation. And in this particular regard, seek to portray PG as a villain. He's not a villain, he's a freedom fighter. And we all have our strengths and weaknesses. And if PG's actions of fighting corruption and all of that have led to me being affected as an individual, and other people will not feel good about it, and they will feel that he basically brought misery to their lives. But for all intents and purposes, the work that he did, it is the work that was taking the nation forward. And then the people of South Africa agreed with the call against graft, against corruption. The ANC itself was moved to a better place in relation to the fight against corruption, moving from being philosophical about it to firm action, to renewal. As part of that renewal includes a whole lot of things that meant that our movement needed to move not only with speed but with decisiveness on some of the things that we are facing in terms of graft and corruption that is associated with the ANC. So PG was an activist and a revolutionary in that struggle, in that context. A revolutionary is somebody who advocates for change. So for change he has advocated in relation to the fight against corruption made him a revolutionary. And he will be counted amongst many in our country who have changed the course of history in that particular fight, and lest we forget. And that's it.
Thank you, Zaini. Okay, Alpha.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mbalula. Alpha Ramushana here from Eyewitness News. I know it may be a bit insensitive, but I think anyone who's watching may be wondering what condition he's facing. Are you at liberty? Are you able to speak about the condition he's facing?
Well, I've said it in the statement, critical, and that is it. Anything further than that is in the hands of the doctors and who are looking after him. And so, like any other person who's in hospital in a critical position, he gets the best care from the medical practitioners of our country. And that is what is happening at the present moment.
Or maybe if I could rephrase, but the illness.
We can't talk about that. It is the terrain of the family. Yes.
With the SABC, actually you spoke highly about the role that Mr. Gordhan has played, and just juxtaposing that thought with what you just said, that he's been vilified, enemies. What could lead to that? I mean, one would think that such a person who would work hard to expose, fight corruption should be praised. What do you think is at play there?
Of course, you live in this country. You are not in Jamaica or United States. You know what has happened. You know PG's role in the leading up to state capture. You know that. He was in the forefront of that. And you know who are the forces and the quarters who will vilify him in this country, and who they associate with. You know that. And it's not for me to repeat. We are not there now. And the fact of the matter is that it will remain. I mean, they won't be pleased. They will continue to celebrate, but as they do so, history will absolve him in terms of the role that he has played. And I'm certain in the annals of history, he will be judged fairly for a man who stood when it was not fashionable against all odds. And the fact that he cannot be praised by everybody because it's not money, it meant you had to sacrifice yourself into the struggle for the good of humanity. And that's what he has done. And it's no surprise when he's at a critical situation in terms of fighting for his life and all of that, that they can even come out and wish for his death. It tells you the impact he has made. And that is what must be celebrated. It meant that it took a man in a generation to stand up for what is good. And if you look at those who are opposed to him and who wish him dead, and you look at where they come from, it tells you a story about how far we have gone, how still is it near of still very far where we are heading to. Like you said, a person of that caliber must be celebrated, and I'm certain that a lot of good South Africans will recognize and celebrate PG's work in this country as they do every day. Like we went to the state capture and all of that, and those who supported him in that regard. And for sure, as the ANC, we are now in a better place and piling up, the momentum in the fight against graft and corruption in our country because of men and women alongside PG who stood up when it was not fashionable and called a spade a spade.
Okay, thank you. Junior and then Jones.
Again from Newsroom Africa. Just a quick one, SG. You speak about the role that Gordhan has played when it comes to state capture, when it comes to SARS. But there's this other role that he played as public enterprises minister. And I think it was yourself who said that if he does not turn these SOEs around, we will basically ask him to go. I just want you to speak about what you think his legacy is going to be as a Minister of Public Enterprises.
Well, public enterprises has been is phased out now, and the role about individuals that they've played when they occupy ministerial positions and the impact they've actually made, that too is left to the legacy of what they did when they there. And he did his part, and today we're on the right path in terms of dealing with that entity and being aligned to transport in relation to its logistics and freight, and revamping it to be aligned with the developmental objectives to enhance economic growth for our country. The statement I made at that particular moment was also followed by a statement of clarification in relation to what I meant by that. It was not to cast aspersion on him. It's like any other minister or a global statement you can make that if you don't move, we'll move you. And that was it. So it was in no way a reflection on him per se. It was a reflection on the state of what he has inherited, which Transnet was a mess. And we are on the recovery. You know that. Like many other people will say today, Prasa, about many, I mean, we are on the roll in terms of new trains, but you know what has happened. These entities were brought to ground. And the effects of that is what we are feeling today and reeling from. We are getting out of load shedding. We came out of it slowly, but we are not yet out of the woods. But at the end of the day, it looks like the work that our government has done in relation to load shedding had a foresight not of ad hoc but long-term intervention. The same as Transnet. There was a lot of criticism in relation to Transnet and all of that, logistics and freight and so on. But we know that this was an effect of years of state capture that ran down that important state entity. And Transnet is now on track in relation to cabinet refined policy in relation to logistics and freight, to make it a point that we are able finally to move from road to rail. And working with the private sector, we have adopted the rail policy, which enables government even to move faster together with the private sector in that regard. So we are quite not just optimistic. We know that good days are ahead of us. And all the signs in the 7th administration are for all of you to see that what is good for South Africa is coming. But it did not come simply because somebody had to bend over. Somebody somewhere had to be decisive. And PG will be counted in relation to the intervention and the struggle they led in terms of ensuring that we deal with the rot that was happening in the state entities.
Okay. Jones and yeah.
Treaty Jones again from ENCA. Just on separate matters of national interest, President expected to sign the Bella Bill tomorrow, but seemingly there being a pushback from the Democratic Alliance, also part of the government of national unity. Just, do you expect more of a fight coming from them in relation to this matter? How will you resolve your differences? That's number one. Number two, President's office also receiving a report on Justice Minister Themisile Simlani on the loan issue. I know you did say that you will be subjected to integrity commission processes, but has there been a date set for that process as well by the ANC? Thanks.
Can I explain again? Let me repeat myself. Anyone who's affected is not being pushed by the ANC. It's upon that individual to present themselves or whoever to the Integrity Commission. In this particular regard, we received the report from Comrade Tembi. I'll report about that to the officials, about what she said, what actually happened, and all of that. on the part of the ANC. But remember, in terms of the ANC, we now have Integrity Commission, where she will go independent from us. Remember, independent from us as the leadership, present herself there. The Integrity Commission will make a determination, having evaluated the report that she would have given, where does it place her in relation to the integrity of the ANC? And they will then bring that report to the SG, and I will report to the National Executive Committee. It's a given, it's standard. So for what she's accused about in relation to VBS and the reports that have sprung to the fore, she will explain herself. She knows that procedure. I don't have to write a letter and remind her that she must go to the Integrity Commission to explain herself and a side of the story. We have established the Integrity Commission specifically for matters of this nature. That when you are affected, the Integrity Commission is not a disciplinary committee. It is a committee that looks at integrity. And most of the people missed that point. They think the Integrity Commission is the DC. No, they look at the integrity, that if there's a matter raised in the public domain, to what extent in their own evaluation does that affect the integrity of the party liberation movement called the African National Congress? And they make recommendations. Their recommendations can be endorsed or they can be not supported by the National Executive Committee. But my job in relation to the Integrity Commission and the conference resolution, once a report is submitted, my job as the SG is to submit that report without fail to the NEC. We are going to have an NEC meeting where I'm going to submit all the reports of the Integrity Commission, past and present, to say this one was attended aside. I will, after that meeting, the NEC, having reflected on the report, explain again, give a report in public that this is how many reports that have been tabled, and then this is the view of the NEC on each of the reports. And by end of this month, we are going into that meeting of the National Executive Committee, which will consider Integrity Commission, but at the same time, organizational issues in relation to the state of the ANC. And that is the point. The Bella bill has been given to the president. The president sit down, apply his mind, and then if the president have come to a conclusion that there is no constitutional impediment or legal or so in relation that prohibit him from signing the bill, from the statements I have seen, the president is signing on Friday. So there's no need to make a call that the president must sign, because it will be good for me at Lutulia House to make a call the president must sign, but if the law says to the president, send the bill back to Parliament, the president has got to do so. But it looks like, based on the advice, like all the bills that have gone and have come before the president, he has signed them because he is confident as the president that he has ticked all the boxes and he doesn't need to be commanded by us to sign the bill. Even what if the law says take it back? He can't. So I've seen we are an activist country and a vibrant democracy. I've seen civil society rising that this bill must be signed. The president's office have said, Friday we are signing. After they sign, I will be here on behalf of the ANC to talk about how important is that bill for South Africa's transformation. I'm not a spokesperson of the DA. They can do whatever they want to do. If they want to walk, they can walk. If they want to do whatever they want to do that they deem it fit in their own perspective, it works for them, they can do that. But it doesn't mean that we cannot talk as members of the GNU and political parties who are in the GNU. We will talk and engage. And I suppose even at that level, the president I saw yesterday, he met with leaders of the GNU, and that's how it is. It is going to be like that for as much as we are in this GNU. It will not stop with Bella, because we did not win outright majority. If we won outright majority, there will be no threats here. Otherwise, the threats we know of, they would have gone and exhausted other options, including going to the courts and all of that. So we are agreed in terms of the statement of intent to cooperate and to work together. So we don't just dismiss each other. And in this particular regard, I think the president is ready to sign, and we're looking forward to welcome the signing of the Bella bill, and then let's work together in terms of operationalizing the bill. But the bill is about transformation of this country, and that's why in Parliament the ANC supported, and we gave the president the mandate through the Parliament to now sign this into an act for South Africa, and that's what we're looking forward to. And if a political party has got reservations about it, nothing stops the political party to raise the reservations. And then we'll engage going forward. We did debate in Parliament. They know where we stand in relation to this bill, the DA. We knew that they don't want it. They didn't want NHI. And we engaged with them and all of that. Ultimately, we signed. So I've seen a very pathetic distortion that we sign for the sake of it, but we don't operationalize. People like those, where do they come from? I mean, it's like they are just operating like Illuminati or whatever that it is, and so on. You don't do that in the democratic state. Once the law is the law, is the law. It is implemented. Once the law is the law, it affects all of us. If the law says that you must not drink and drive, you won't drink and drive. If you do, you'll be arrested. If the law is signed into an act, it is the law. It will be implemented. And that is it. So you must expect that our partners in the government of national unity led by the ANC, they will continuously raise their issues in relation to the matters that they differed with us in the past and even in the present. Like we have said, and we repeat ourselves all the time, the GNU is not a melting pot. GNU is not a melting pot. ANC-led GNU is not a melting pot. GNUs and coalitions, in their very definition, are constituted by political parties who necessarily don't ideologically share the same perspective. They are constituted by rivals most of the time. And that's what they are. But our GNU and our government, we have constituted it for the stability of this country going forward. And it is doing very well. So we must not be shocked all the time when the DA raises their issues and all of that. South Africans and everyone else must have what is called shock absorbers about this GNU. And that's it. So we are on track. We are engaging. We have started, and we have started very well. And we will subject some of the issues in the long term to the clearinghouse so that we talk about these issues. So that is it. But from the reports that we got, which is very inspirational report, is that on Friday, Matamela looks like he's ready to sign. So we're looking forward to Friday. And the signing will be good news all around for the majority in this country.
That's understand.
I think Pule's question, he wanted to establish whether Mr. Gordhan is responsive or unconscious, and I think people will be curious about that. Then is he in a private or public?
No, but what language you don't understand? Now you want to make me a controversy. I said it's critical. Now, when a person is critical, you must talk about the details of whether he's conscious, is on a what is on. No, it's not. That's not the case. You are a journalist. you are a journalist. How you describe the state of a person, it's in no denial. He is critical in hospital. And the doctors are doing everything possible. And that's it. And what the doctors do to save lives is private. Now you want us to bring us back to Madiba's debate, critical but stable. No, Chief, don't do that. I think we have been there, and the family has given us permission to talk about this because this is our member, is our leader. So we are explaining to you, he's in hospital, it is confirmed, family has confirmed that. He's critical in hospital, and we're putting him in our prayers, and doctors are doing everything possible to make it a point that they are able to save the life of Comrade PG. And that's it.
There's no any other hand, is she? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.